Lord Willart, I am relieved to find you alive and well. The Directorate had become concerned some act of sorcery had vanished you from the world, as you had not arrived in Middenland with your forces as ordered. Perhaps the poor messenger had become lost on the road? I have lived in Marienburg my whole life, and yet I do not recognize you, priest. Who is this stranger Van de Kuipers has sent to scold me? Franz Brothmer, my lord. I have not been in Marienburg for long. I previously served the Temple of Myrmidia in Delberts until its ruin. Van de Kuipers is not a godly man, and there are legions of grovellers and flatterers that have served the stadtholder for many years. Why would he choose to send a foreign refugee priest to speak on his behalf? Our Lord Stadtholder has taken a great interest in the patroness of battle, as his armies march further and further across the land, and has welcomed my counsel ever since I took refuge in his city. Is that so? The old man must be thinking on the well-being of his soul as Moor edges ever closer. If you had come here in the hopes of uncovering some great treachery on my part, then I'm afraid you have wasted your time. I had received the stadtholder's orders. However, I thought it best to stay put until my conquests had been properly subjugated. Your conquests. The armies you lead are paid their wages from Marienburg's coffers, not your own purse. You understand me well enough, priest. I have no desire to argue semantics with you. These lands seem to be perfectly subdued from my observation. That being the case, I would imagine you intend on moving from Middenland come the morning. Soon. Of course, then it is fortunate that I have caught you in time. Imagine, just a day later and you would be on the road to Middenland, your soul humming with patriotic fervour as you humbly enact the stadtholder's will. I do not care to be taunted. You may see yourself from my city. Tell Van de Kuipers I will move to Middenland when the time is right. No, you won't. You will ready your men at once and come south with me. South, you say? You know, when Gorsel was sacked by the Greenskins, there was some in the Directorate that wanted to hold me responsible. But my brother Erasmus, as always, interfered where he wasn't needed, and the dogs backed down. I wonder what they had to do to convince Van de Kuipers to take my head. I imagine it would take very little. Your name is not popular in Marienburg, but it is not the capital to which we are headed. It was a remarkable campaign, you know, the march against Grum the Paunch and the marches of Coron. Your brother's victory, of course. He is the Lord Commandant after all. At least that's how history will remember it. But I think your brother would be lying dead in a Bretonnian field, with a greenskin arrow through his throat were it not for you. No, that campaign was your victory. Who are you? You were not there. You have never marched in my army. I would recognize that hideous smirk if I had seen it before. I was nearby, observing. It might trouble you to know that the province has since fallen quiet, and there are reports of walking corpses and foul creatures prowling the lands. So, southward we will go, to investigate. It would be a shame if your great conquest were to be so quickly lost. Hello everyone. Before we continue with the video, there were just a few things I needed to go over. You won't remember at the end of the last video I mentioned I was having issues with the new patch that I'd released and was making a mess of the modded campaigns. CA have released a fix for this issue, however for whatever reason my most recent saves are just completely messed up and they're refusing to load. We left off the last video at I think that turn 31 or 32. The most recent save I was able to load was at turn 24. So I've had to go back and try and recreate the events to get us to where we left off. The AI was surprisingly cooperative and I was able to get the campaign back to where we were. I did need to tidy up a few things, which is why we're starting a couple of turns later, but I'm not too bothered about that. The only significant change from where we left off is that Musilon decided to storm through into the marches of Coron, so I've had to move Willart down south to deal with that, which was explained in the narrative in the clip that was just played. and in Middenheim, Festus sent this massive armies over, so Christian has had to move back to Middenheim to protect the city there. Other than that, we're back to where we started at the end of the last video. In order to prevent me losing progress again and getting delayed, I have dedicated my weekend to playing the campaign through to the very end. So I now have all the footage I need to finish the story, so hopefully we won't get roadblocked again by technical issues. So it's now just a case of editing all the footage together and recording audio. So I'm hoping to start getting these videos out more consistently. I also wanted to mention, as we get deeper into the campaign, myself and the AI are fielding more armies and the battles are becoming more frequent. We're sometimes getting 5 or 6 battles in a single turn. If I were to show every single battle, the series would become unreasonably long and not all that interesting. So going forward, I'm not going to show every single battle. The small battles with obvious conclusions won't be shown unless I think they're significant enough to the narrative, in which case I'll show a condensed version of the battle. The larger and more narratively significant battles will still be shown in full, as I have done in previous videos. I would also like to invite everyone watching to give me some feedback on what changes or improvements you would like to see on these videos. I am still a novice at this, and I'm very aware that these videos are a little rough around the edges. So far I've received really good feedback from viewers about including more voiceover during battles, showing wider shots of battles so that the viewer has a better understanding of what's happening. I think as the person making the video, I already know what's happening and I have full context of what's going on, but sometimes maybe I forget that the viewer is relying on me to provide that information through the editing to show what's happening. So if there's anything in these videos where you've thought, this could be done a little better, or something could be done to make it easier to understand what is happening either on the campaign or in the battles, I would greatly appreciate that feedback. So with that out of the way, we'll get back to it. Willot van Noort had force-marched his forces through the length of the Commonwealth before finally arriving at the southern town of Plesseq. He allowed his men a brief respite before setting off again to root out the undead hordes occupying Fort Burgbras. Night had fallen by the time Willot arrived with his host. Some might have chosen to rest for the night and move on the fort with the advantage of daylight. However, the threat of the vampire lord wreaking havoc on their camp using vampiric sorcery was too great. The bugle was sounded, and the soldiers of Marienburg stormed the walls.
It will be done!
Crispin van Hagen had charged to the lower ground with the intent of slaying the vampire lord. However, he soon found himself surrounded by a horde of ferocious skeleton warriors.
Behold the silver hammer! bastard!
After breaching the gates, Willard rode through the fort and smashed into the vampire lord.
None shall live!
The eastern wall soon fell. However, when the men moved to the lower ground, they found themselves pinned between the walls and the undead legions waiting below.
Henrik to battle! Death to the enemy! I foresee their deaths! No surrender! Wise counsel! Destroy the vamp! The rest will fall away! Take their heads! Kill the necromancer!
Franz Rothmer laid into the zombie warriors, chanting strange hymns to his war deity.
Slay the vamp! Bastards! Keep clear! Sigma! Heldenhammer! Wise counsel!
With their lord slain, the dark magic keeping the undead warriors animated soon broke, and they crumbled to dust.
It will be done!
In the north, Festus the Leech Lord, the exalted champion of Nurgle, arrived at Middenheim at the head of a large force. The city must hold, or become yet another festering playground for the Lord of Decay. The initial assaulting force split in two and marched on both the south and east gates. Festus himself took charge of the smaller force and set his gaze upon the south gate. As the ladders docked the walls, the crossbowmen withdrew, and the reserve swordsmen moved forward to tackle the Chaos Warriors as they scaled the rampart. From out of the darkness of the forest, the putrid shambling horde emerged and marched toward the east gate.
Beware the wizard! Look out! Enemy wizard spotted!
Deep from within the forest, a great roar, as the Fecundine reinforcements arrived and moved to join the assault on the east gate. Back on the south gate, the defenders were struggling to push back the more heavily armoured warriors of chaos. With Festus slain, the assault on the south gate soon fell apart. On the east, the worst was yet to come. The gates had been smashed to splinters, and the foul beast of Nurgle terrorized the spearmen on the ground, as a feral manticore devoured the supporting crossbowmen.
Magic is chaos! That is true magic! Magic is chaos!
The demons upon the walls were slain just in time as the second putrid wave arrived.
Duels! Look out, spellcaster! Enemy with the wizard! Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells!
The world will scream.
Look out! Spellcaster! It's chaos!
The reinforcement vanguard was turned away after volley upon volley of musket fire. There would not be nearly enough shot to keep the entire horde from the city.
Look out! Enemy wizard spotted!
Slay every mortal.
We are doomed! Enemy wizard spotted! Beware the wizard! Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells! They're casting spells! Enemy wizard! Sigma! Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells! Look out! Spellcaster! Enemy wizard spotted! Enemy wizard spotted! Beware the wizard!
As the defending infantry kept the horde contained around the gatehouse, the crossbowmen moved into place behind the line.
Look out, spell magic! Magic is chaos! Very well! Mind the tentacles!
Now in position, Christian and his crossbows could lay into the condensed mass of enemies with a torrent of arrows.
We are in peril! Kill them! No! They are wavering! As long as we have the upper leg, we will hold! Hurry! Okay! Blood of our ears! We'll be back! This was not meant to be!
The cultist ranks were thinning, and reinforcements from the south gate soon arrived to support their comrades.
Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells! Fight! Enemy wizard spotted! Sigma, we're forced to kill the creatures! This was not meant to be!
The commanding Chaos Lord was broken, and fled disoriented into the city where he was pursued. He would not leave the city alive. The remaining missile cavalry attempted a desperate last charge through the gates, but their efforts were in vain.
We'll be back! Don't give them an inch! No!
Willard did not remain in Fort Burgbras for long. The town of Chantillon was rumoured to still be standing against the undead invaders, and Willard made haste to the marches to continue the pressure against the Red Duke of Muselon. In Kamendum, Boris's scouts had spotted a Fecundite host moving by. Boris could not afford to let them slip by unopposed, and moved against them.
Heads down, men! They're casting spells!
In the south of Middenland, the Empire continued to apply pressure and had surrounded Schoppendorf with 2 large armies. More worrying news, as the vampire lords of the unliving were closing in on the town of Grimminghausen, just south of Middenheim. After a glorious defense of Middenheim, Christian seized the initiative and pursued the fleeing Nurgle cultists. He caught a small force that had not made it far from the city, and soundly destroyed them.
Into the fray!
The second host had not made it much farther, and they too were sought out and destroyed.
Into the fray!
Just when the fledgling Commonwealth thought it could not endure much more hostility, Cloistered Diaphin, the Siren of the Storm, declared her intentions to wage war. With no idea of where her ethereal fleet lay, the coastal cities of the Commonwealth were gripped by fear, anticipating the arrival of the undead navy appearing upon the horizon. As expected, the Ever-Living had pushed south and assaulted Grimminghausen. The defending garrison resisted as best they could, but were ultimately overwhelmed, and the town fell. With the Fecundite armies in disarray, the proud soldiers of Hochland took up the cause and pushed north, intent on driving the cultists from their mountain refuge. the Commonwealth would finally enjoy a small amount of breathing room.
Time to fight!
Christian and Boris hurried south towards Grimminghaugen, determined to drive out the undead invaders.
It is war!
Willard arrived at Landrel Barrow, a town he had already fought a bloody battle for. They found the town defended by only a modest garrison and were able to quickly secure the land.
Fight for our nation!
The ever-living host continued south, leaving Grimminghaugen ripe for reclaiming. Boris and Christian reunited on the road and moved towards the town.
Down!
The nation calls.
Realizing their foolish mistake, the ever-living conceded to pay reparations to the Commonwealth and ceased their hostilities. The Musulman army was now perilously close to Chantillon. Willard would be unable to catch them before they moved on the town. He could, however, move on Tancred Castle and hope the invaders would turn back to relieve the siege.
Into battle!
Word from Marienburg, Lord Christian. Imperial forces have crossed the Reich yet again. I will move directly south, and, Ulrich willing, cross paths with Franz himself. I should very much like to speak with him. I'm sure the Emperor would like to speak with you too. Yes, I'm sure he would, though I doubt he would appreciate what I have to say. I have your orders here as well. You are to move around the forest and liberate Brockel. We shall occupy both roads into Middenheim and hold the Imperial advance whichever route they go. I can have the men ready to move within the hour. Farewell, Grand Duke Boris. It has been a pleasure. Indeed it has. I am not a sentimental man, nor am I made of stone. You have done my people a great kindness. When we first met at Middenheim, I naively thought you just a simple Van der Kuiper's lackey. But you have kept your word. You advocated for our cause to Marienburg. You led the defense of Middenheim and turned back the Leech Lord. As a result of your efforts, my people and my lands have been pulled back from the brink. I do not forget my friends, Lord Christian, and you are a friend to all the people of Middenland. Should you ever grow tired of the fops and dandies in Marienburg, you are welcome to retire in Middenheim. I shall see to it that you and your wife receive a fine manor to grow old in. Then I should set about the business of finding a wife. This war is far from over, and I am sure we both will see much blood spilled, but I have no doubt our paths will cross again. Farewell, Your Grace. Farewell.
Move again at dawn.
By Sigma's right!
Erasmus had called off his pursuit of the northern greenskins once the Empire had made their hostility known. He rushed south toward the Black Pit, which the Empire had recently secured from the Black Pit tribe.
Raise your weapon!
A panicked envoy from the Continental Exarchate came to the Directorate seeking assistance against the Ripperhorn tribe. The elves of Elftown had been steadfast in their support of Marienburg against the Empire, and the city would repay their friendship in kind. The price of loyalty was soon made apparent, as the town of Southern, just north of Marienburg, was besieged by the Beastmen herd. Unable to resist, the town fell. Relief in the marches of Coron, as the Knights of Bretonnia had rode against the Muselon horde headed for Chantillon and destroyed them. Willard was now free to take Tancred Castle and remove the undead presence entirely from the land. The walls of Tancred Castle were vast. Willard decided it best to focus their assault on the smallest section of the walls, to concentrate the undead defenders in a smaller area where they could be more easily cut down.
Wise counsel! Wise counsel!
The Emperor will save us! Kill the Necromancer!
Willard's battle-hardened warriors were more than capable of cutting through the rotten corpses that Muselon had brought to bear, and the castle was soon won.
Behead them!
Send them to war!
They are wavering!
Though Willard would have preferred to pursue the Red Duke deep into Bretonnia, Marienburg was already waging war on too many fronts. The vampire counts were instead extorted for reparations, and the war brought to a close. With no relief coming, the Imperial garrison of the Black Pit would stand alone. Erasmus moved into the pit, confident of another victory.
It is war!
In Ulrich's name! Come, friends! Pretend it is the head of a Burgmeister who strikes. Foes of the... It will be done!
Hammer!
The gods have abandoned us!
The southern fortress city of Schoppendorf, upriver from Altdorf, had come under siege from the Emperor himself. The garrison there was dwarfed by the attackers, but they would not give up their city without a fight. The assault came from both the western and northern gates.
Brace for impact! Brace your...
Franz, upon his loyal mount Deathclaw, took charge of the assault on the west gate.
As long as we outnumber them, we will hold! By the comet! Lucas's head flew by me! As long as we outnumber them, we will hold!
The lighter assault upon the north gate had no great beasts with which to fly over the ramparts, and the defending crossbowmen were free to riddle the attackers with crossbow fire.
As long as we outnumber them, we will hold! The gods will abandon us! Look out! Spellcaster!
Fight, men! Fight for our right to live! Cast magic against them!
Sorcery!
The crossbows eventually had to pull back as the ladders docked the walls, and the spear infantry moved in to cut down the attackers as they poured over the ramparts.
We will kill them all!
On the west gate, the defenders were making light work of the assaulting infantry. However, they could not escape the deathly whirlwind of the Emperor and his fearsome steed.
Don't give them an inch! Ulrich's wolves! Charge with... It is civil war! Sorcery!
At the north gate, the attackers had broken through the gate. However, their force, consisting mainly of cavalry, were caught by the spearmen on the other side and cut down.
Take the wall! As long as we outnumber them, we will hold! Fight, men! Fight for our rights to live! They are wavering! Don't stop until they're all dead!
The assault on the north gate was successfully turned away, and the defenders moved to a more defensive position as they anticipated the Imperial army would soon be moving deeper into the city.
Die when we have the walls!
The west gate soon fell, and the Imperial cavalry poured into the city, overwhelming the defenders on the ground.
As long as we outnumber them, we will hold! Weapons in the air, lads! Don't let it land! The gods have abandoned us!
With little resistance left to oppose him, Karl Franz sought out what remained of the defending garrison.
Raise yourselves! Ulrich's wolves charge with us! Die, traitor! Heldenhammer! Slay them! Kill the soldiers! Our liege lord demands! As long as we walk, they will die! Now we strike forward, men! Kill the soldiers! Our liege lord demands! Fight, lads! It's the only way! A death blow on them!
the defenders broke and fled for their lives. Some chose to stand and fight to the death. Death was soon granted to them.